Hi, welcome back. What I've just done off camera is clean up the airbrush and then put in some Scale 75 number 2, which is nacre, which is their kind of off-white colour. I've also dialed down the airbrush and I've put a flow restrictor on the airbrush as well, which should allow a smaller amount of paint to come out if it works, which it might not be. Okay, so let's have a go. It's a bit of fun, isn't it? First bit of chip dry, just going to black that through and put the lock back on again. And we're back again, so that's good. That's it. You want the light to trace and to be connected to each other. There we go. So that's that done. Now I'm going to do the blade on the the knife. Sorry if I'm a bit quiet, I'm just concentrating. Fuck it. Bad trigger control from me, that's unusual. It's okay, I'll go back in and glaze that in later. Right, so that's looking quite nice now as a kind of roadmap for the steel. I'm sure you'll all agree. You pull this colour through. And we're going to get some white in there. You can hear the kids on the trampoline now. I can't really tell them to shut up, so I apologise if you can hear them in the background. Little monsters that they are. Okay, so just needing to mix a bit more of the white in. I made it a bit thin. Now we're obviously going to finish this with the brush anyway. These are the soft blends that we want to put in behind, and then we'll glaze in all the proper non-metallic striations and stuff with a paintbrush later. But just to develop and to push those soft blends on with an airbrush is really lovely as a kind of roadmap as well. It helps you to view the way the light is working and moving. So let's have a look and pull this through and see what we've got here. Oh, we know that's very thin, don't we? This white must have been a particularly pigmentless paint. Alright, let's just clean this off. Pull out some brushes from the brush. I'm using the scale 75 white because it's not as shiny and as luminous, so it will actually look a little bit grey. And then later on, when I go in with the brush, I'll use titanium white from Schminker probably. What I'm doing is using a fine adjust to find a level I'm happy with of paint paint movement. It's a bit too much now. Okay, let's do this. Deep breath. That's nice. I like that a lot. I'm just going to go very carefully. Okay, that's enough for me on that one. Do the other side. It's nice, I like that. Okay, now we're going to do the feet. That's enough for me on the feet. Sniper blade's a pain in the ass because it's so small. I have to do that with a brush, I think. Ugh. Even the best with an airbrush make a mistake. Which is annoying. I have to go back in and sort the sword out down the bottom there. That's fine. It's all part of the rich tapestry of life. Okay, just want to Woo. That was almost too much as well. Look at that. Shit. Let's soften that back in. That should be alright. It's just got some glazes on it. Okay. Oh, that's bad. Yeah, that's not good. We don't want that to happen. So I'm going to have to do something now about that, which is to pull the colour off. Actually, it might have left us a bit of a happy accident though. Interesting. That is something I'm going to keep and work into the blade. It's not intentional. You all watched me screw up. So you all saw that. But I'm going to trace the light around that as if it's some sort of indentation in the blade, and when I glaze it in again, I'm going to keep that as a light. It's quite a nice light actually. Okay, so there we have, apart from the fuck up, which will turn into a happy accident, as good old Bob would say, that is that is the metal done in preparation for the brushwork. Obviously the metal is a long way from finished. We use a lot of glazes later on the metals in order to get them to look like metals. So what I will, I'll show you what I'm kind of going for actually, because the way the light moves around the model is fascinating. And when you are even in a fantasy piece, you've still got to kind of have an understanding of the volumes. You'll hear artists talk about volumes all the time, and that's the shapes and how light would play around those shapes. So for example, here we can see non-metallic metal work in progress on some green enamelled armour, and you can see how the light is moving on her. It's lovely. So we'll be going for something similar, that's slightly more cartoony on this particular piece when it's done. I think that actually is going to be alright, which is really not what I was expecting. In fact, I was quite pleased with the way it was going before I then royally screwed it up. But, you know, it's good to see people make mistakes and how you deal with them. Nobody's perfect. I made plenty of mistakes on this one. Right, I'm gonna varnish it, as we always do, and then I'll finish the video once I've given this a good black with varnish. And that's 2 more parts recorded today so far. It's not bad going. I think I might put some of the leather in with the airbrush, but I'm not sure yet. Ooh, it's wet. Okie dokie. Swing all the varnish out of the airbrush. Once I've done this off camera, I'll have a look and see whether it's feasible or not to do the leather work with the airbrush for some of the texturing, but it's probably worthwhile just doing it all with the brush, I would imagine, to be honest. Okay, so here we go. Obviously it's a bit shiny because the varnish is drying on it. But the starts are there. Now we're going to put all sorts of rust and stuff on the blades anyway. And then off cam yesterday I did a little bit more on the hood. So I just started to put some texture on the hood using some soft yellows, and I started to use some purple ink just to put the cracks in and the stitching recesses in and stuff. Just starting to build up the texture that will make up the kind of striking hood, and later on we'll glaze down the skin and everything else. And then I've done a scenic base for it. When I say I have done, this is a base that I bought from Blacksmith Miniatures with the kits, and all I've done is just add a bit of extra sand and rubble and stuff to it. So it's a very easy job on a plinth from Pete's Bases. Sorry, they're always from Pete's Bases because I love Pete, he's awesome. So this should be quite a nice little piece when it's done. If it's done, because it looks like it's going to be quite time consuming, but all the good things are. Okay, thanks very much for watching. Speak to you soon.